about the Buddha walking, and every breath the Buddha took was for beings. Even in the Pali Canon, they say the Buddha walks and in every breath. You'll often hear people say in prayers, Tibetan prayers, one breath, like I said, there's a pair of prayers at Tsongkhapa, Che Tsongkhapa, one breath from you cures whatever limitless beings of their suffering or whatever. That's Tonglen. Classic Buddhist meditation, they would start by watching the breath. And my favorite hero, Theravada monk, my favorite hero, Vipassana meditation, there was no Vipassana meditation. He was like, that's not in the Pali Canon. I don't know. Watching the breath is not a Buddhist meditation. There's jhana, but there is no, and we're in agreement with the Hinayanas about that. You could sit and watch your breath for countless aeons, but it's not an object of virtue. Watching your breath is not a good karma. You're watching your breath. Cinnamon can watch her breath with great concentration. She can watch her breath. More so her food. She's very good with watching her food. You can see the urge in Buddhist scriptures to make that breath watching. Originally, that's if you have a wild and crazy mind, if you have a very suffering mind, before meditation, you calm it by watching the breath, putting your mind to these two nostrils right here, and leveling out your mind so that you can meditate. So Tonglen developed with like, hey, we got this watching the breath. We might as well do something with that. So with every in-breath, we're taking away suffering of beings and destroying it. And with every out-breath, we're giving them... and this can be done if you perfect it anywhere. You could be at work. And it's almost on an unconscious level. Every in-breath, I'm going to take away everybody's crap that they got, and every out-breath, I'm going to give them happiness. I'm going to give them love. But number one, we start the practice with just ourselves in the future. Because until you can cure the mentally afflicted dude in that scenario, or lady in that scenario, then you won't even be able to get in this state of mind. I failed miserably in my job for 4 years. There were times that I wanted to kill people on my job, and there was no Tonglen going around because I failed to do the initial step of first seeing myself in the scenarios that always come up and watching me flip out about it and taking away that person's suffering. Can you take away that person's suffering? No. But what I think happens, because we're creatures of habit, if you do this often enough, when that time comes, you remember what you did in meditation. And you're actually looking back, you're accessing that and realizing, oh, I took away this, and then you stop. You think, you're like, yeah, I'm about to flip out again. So, yeah, we'll take a break.
There was a lot of information.
You didn't study Maryland, did you? You didn't study agriculture in Maryland.
Close the door if you're too cold.
Oh, I'm fine.
Do I push?
You lift it up.
I'll tell you, if I close the door and turn the fan on, you think?
Well, if you close the door, then no fan.
I'm just trying to think.
You guys all right over there? All right.
I need to negotiate in the gate.
Yeah, you have to have a realization about the game and how it works. You gotta stay here.
Usually when you, I think you guys heard it last night, usually when there's preliminaries to meditation, cleaning a room, making a nice place before you meditate. I hardly ever do that. I'm guilty of not doing that. I do it once a week. But then you maybe set out offerings. The offerings to the Buddhas don't, it's not like the Buddhas really need your water or your candles or your light or it's to purify it's like offering this purification of your own giving in your own mind, letting go of stuff and offering them. And then there's various methods for sitting, mainly to keep your spine as straight as possible. They often say like stacked coins. I find that if you put a cushion a little bit farther to the rear of your rear, then it tends to hold stuff straighter. And they say full lotus, but half lotus or no lotus, as long as you're steady as possibly can. Full lotus is used in advanced tantric practices with energy channels and all that, and a big part of yoga. Then you keep your head just slightly tilted forward. They usually say put your tongue to keep the saliva from. It's not like we're all going to be in deep meditation for hours and hours and hours where our saliva is going to come out. They say don't keep the eyes open and don't close them all the way. Sort of like, but I think a lot of Americans, it helps for them if they're new meditators to just close their eyes. Especially if there's a lot of colors like in this room. It seems to be a distraction to beginning meditators. That's pretty much about it. I mean, it's pretty much common sense. I think. So you first watch your breath, and you count 10 in and out breaths. 1 in and out is one breath. Now, if we went the hardcore way, then anytime your mind went off this area right about here, where your nostrils, where the air is coming in and out, then you would start the counting process all over again. So you could be here all night if your mind gets pulled from the object. So just to steady our mind, to get our mind into a state of peace, or not quite peace, but just a little steadier, calm down, you just do breathing meditation. You watch that area with your mind and feel the hot air coming out and the cold air coming in, and do 10 breaths. 10 in and out is 1, and then you do 10, and then we'll pick up from there. Then you go for refuge, which just means you don't want to suffer, and you believe that Buddha, Dharma, Sangha can help you get out of your suffering.